This always reminds me when I was really little, we would always walk our neighborhood and there was a little lake in the middle of it, and we would take feed like this and give it to the ducks. This is just scratched grains, but it always reminds me of feeding the ducks when I was younger. Good morning, guys. It is early. That is the moon there. It is only 6:40. I have so much I need to try to get done this morning. Life has been a bit crazy over here. I have not been in my garden as much as I typically am. So I feel like a lot of the weeds are getting really out of control, especially in the trellis space. It is really bad. So I need a weed today. I need to prune up some stuff today. I'm definitely already dealing with some blight just with it being a very wet and cooler year. We have kind of slowed down on the rain, but all the fungal problems and things like that have been popping up. So I need to do that. Oh, I need to do garlic today. The garlic is completely cured. I did braid all of my soft neck, but I still have all of my hard neck that I need to process. So that is also on the list. We're just gonna see what all I can get to. Oh, this is why I put it by the coop. I need to clean the chicken coop. I'm down to my last few onions. I'll show you guys where all of the onions are curing. I'm doing things a smidge different this year. Gardening is just one big experiment. So I'm doing a few things a little bit different. You can see I have the plastic on top of those hoops there. So I had it on the sides throughout the growing season to help with wind. So I've had issues with wind in the past causing wind damage to the onions. So I had a wind block on them. And then I wanna say I haven't watered that space at all in about 2.5 weeks now. And I still have a few that haven't flopped over, but I have the plastic over top now to block any rain because we have had some rain and I didn't want the onions to get wet. So I have that as a rain block now. And that was what I was really hoping to do this year. I have really liked this system. And so far the onions that have been curing, they look great. So really hoping that this is my onion redemption year after a failed curing last year. I've actually successfully cured onions in the past, and then last year was just terrible. And I believe rain was a big contributor of having issues and then having mold with the onions. So anyway, I'm gonna get these harvested and maybe I'll just work from the back of the garden to the front because I really have to do like a whole sweep of the garden. So let me get this harvested and maybe we will jump to the trellis. I don't know if you saw the weeds or not, but I will show you. They are so bad. I could call it a rain block or I could call it an onion umbrella. The biggest one this year came in at 1 pound, 5 ounces, I believe it was. Those look good to me. Maybe I should start in that corner first and work this way and then go like that. I'm just gonna start weeding. And then after I get done weeding this, I actually do need to prune up some of the beans. I don't know if you guys can see or not, but there's areas that definitely have some problems. Oh my gosh, I randomly was looking back at videos from literally mid-July. The trellis was fuller than this mid-June last year. So it really just, again, the year just continues to feel off. We are finally in that peak time of year, but it just still feels off. Ooh, guys. I think these cucumber plants are probably on their way out, but I did just get a cucumber, so I'm gonna go lay this with the onions first. I knew it was a lot, but I was not expecting that much. When I got into the interior here, one thing is grass likes to grow between this and the wood, and I did not realize how much grass was grown in just those areas, but everything looks a lot better. Now I'm going to move on to over here. So I have been able to get a bit of tomatoes, guys. These are all of my jalapenos, and all of my jalapenos look really good this year. But I had a ton of tomatoes over here I was just able to harvest, but this plant is doing pretty bad with blight. And then this one over here is as well. I have not got to prune this plant once, and we are getting really good sized fruits on it though. Look at this, absolutely insane. I have weeded everything else in the garden. recently. So I really don't have too much more weeding to do, but I do definitely need to prune a few things up. Oh, and I walked past this sunflower and I broke it, which is fine because this was kind of annoying me anyway. So I'm gonna go give this to the chickens. The thing that's dumb about it is it was totally about to bloom. But I think this sunflower here probably goes in the top 5 tallest sunflowers I have ever grown. It's probably sitting around 13. I don't know if it would be 14 feet tall, but that trellis has to be sitting between 7 and 8. But it bloomed finally. It looks really pretty. I honestly think this crossed with one of the wild sunflowers because I don't get blooms like that on the wild sunflower. Because you can see that's the wild sunflower there. I don't know what this is. We got a sunflower that you can peck at. How exciting. Get it, girls. Have fun. You are welcome. You guys, these are Romas. These things are absolutely massive. Someone just laid an egg. I love Cosmos, but you have to keep up on deadheading a lot. So I'm gonna go through and deadhead. I did recently weed all 6 of these beds and I replanted out these 3. I have corn. You might be able to see the corn popping up. I do need to reseed a few over there. I will probably get to that this morning, but everything else I have pruned up and weeded over here. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and weed and prune up the peppers a little bit. This area isn't bad. Go through the tomatoes one more time, and that might be it for my weeding and pruning this morning. It feels good to get some of that done. So I have some melon cradles here with cantaloupe. Cantaloupe will naturally detach. I just found a squash bug. Hold up. I feel like I've done a pretty good job at keeping up with the squash bugs and the squash bug eggs. I think I caught it right as it started to happen this year, which hopefully, fingers crossed. Perfect. Over the last 2 days, I've only found 2 adults, but a few days back, I want to say I found 5 or 6 clusters of eggs and around 8 or 9 adults. That was the highest day I've had yet. Other than that, it's been pretty low maintenance up to this point. I will say the cucumber beetles have definitely been a problem this year, and I have yet to really find a solution for them. Anyway, like I was saying, unless I see something else, these are melon cradles, and your cantaloupe naturally detaches from the vine when it is mature and ready. I have one here that is probably getting pretty close. I'll show you guys in a second, but the webbing on the cantaloupe has appeared, and then I have a few others that are getting to the point where I need to put a netting on. And then I just remembered my S hooks are inside. This is an S hook. This is what I used to hook them onto the trellis. Someone told me this in my comment section a few years back, because what I was doing was taking the sides and just tying them up and creating a knot. But this makes it to where you can just loop it in and then hook it onto the trellis really, really easily. I have 2 sizes of these. I have a small and a large. I like to use the small ones for cantaloupe. The one reason I love cantaloupe, one, is homegrown cantaloupe honestly tastes night and day different. There's some things you grow that you can taste a significant difference. I can always taste a difference with the things I grow, but there's some things that aren't as crazy as others. Cantaloupe is one of those that, wow, I don't know if I've ever truly tasted more of an amazing cantaloupe than that, but it's so easy. I've had struggles with other melons. Last year I grew honeydew, and honeydew was difficult. It was weird, and every cue I thought I read about to pick them, I was wrong, and honestly they just weren't that great. I was really disappointed because I love honeydew. I want to say I had one or two that I got really close on and they tasted really good. And then watermelon. Watermelon is also tricky. They say to look at the tendril, and when the tendril dies back, that's this curly Q that attaches and holds on to everything. And then there's also a color shift that happens with the honeydew and the watermelon. And whenever I saw both those cues, I would pick them or wait a little bit longer, and then I would either have cracking, where we would have like a rainstorm and then they were to the point where they were ripe and then they got a little bit too much water and then they cracked, or I picked them too early and they were very unflavorful. So if you're in a small space, I highly suggest giving cantaloupe a try. I honestly feel like it's the foolproof melon if you are in the beginning stages of gardening. I'm just going to double check the squash. And then I think, I got a cucumber beetle. I think I am going to clean the coop and then we'll get to the garlic. It's nice not to dodge those other ones. And this has been driving me nuts. And I actually, I have my pruners. Okay, let's see. This one's kind of annoying. And then let's cut this guy. Much better. That was scraping my arm and making me itchy. I got my corn seeds. You might be able to see my dead sunflower. I moved this out of the way last week. I think it was last week when I planted this. I don't know, but I had to weed this little corner and the roots must have gone all the way through the pot and I killed it, but that's fine. It was a volunteer sunflower. See if we have anyone laying. All right, head count. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that means 2 of you guys are laying at the moment. We might just skip cleaning the coop until later. Let me show you guys where I have all of the onions. All right, so here are all of the onions that are currently curing. This one was the largest of the year. It came in at 1 pound and 5 ounces. It is massive. I've had really good success drying onions on the porch in the past, so I figured I might as well give it a try again. I'm really happy with the garlic and the onions this year. They both look so nice. My soft net got done about a week ago. I believe I braided this up. It will be going in the basement with all of the hard neck as well. So the hard neck still had a little bit to dry because this came out of the garden later, but it's looking like we're good to go. So to check with the hard neck, I like to make sure that the stem of this is completely white. What I will be doing is exactly this. I will be trimming up all of the roots, and then I will be taking the stem down to about 1 inch to 2 inches, give or take, and just to clean it up really nicely for storage. I'm going to start with my Chestnut Red first because that is the variety I did the most of. I'm just going to go by variety. That way I can keep everything together and transport it downstairs and then lay it out by variety because each garlic has a little bit different of a flavor profile. This by far was probably the most uniform garlic harvest I've had, and I'm really happy with it. It looks so good. Look at the color on this one peeking through. And there we have it, the 2025 garlic harvest. So I'm going to take this pot here. Let me power on. I'm gonna scale that out. All right, so let's see how much our braid weighs first. 4 pounds, 2 ounces. For Georgian Fire, 1 pound, 1.8 ounces. Italian Purple, which this was my own garlic that I planted, so my very own seed garlic. It did really well. We got 2 pounds, 12 ounces. I often get the question on what do I do with so much garlic, and I will powder down about half of this, and I will also use the other half fresh. So this one here, my soft neck, stored clear into February for me last year, so I will use actually a lot of my hard neck first and keep my soft neck for those months where my hard neck typically doesn't store for me. My hard neck only stores for about 5 to 7 months has been what I've experienced over the last 4 years, but yeah, that soft neck stored really, really well for me. And for Russian red, it looks like we have 2 pounds, 7 ounces. All right, now the chestnut is the one where we're gonna get the biggest chunk of our weight. We have 7 pounds. 3.8 ounces. Now the question is, did I grow more pounds of garlic than I did last year? I just did the math. Last year I had 19 pounds and 5 ounces, and this year I had 19 pounds and 8 ounces. And honestly, I think I probably would have had another 2 to 3 pounds if my Georgian Fire would have gone to plan. I did have one of my varieties end up having a ton of witch's brooming, and there was a handful of them that actually rotted in the ground, and that was the very first for me. But regardless, we still got the same amount pretty much that we grew last year, and I still have 1 pint left of garlic powder. So this should give me enough for fresh eating. I should be able to dry a decent amount, and I should be able to use some of this to plant as well. I might like dabble into some other varieties and things like that just because I love to try new varieties, but I'll probably definitely be using my chestnut and probably Italian Purple. Maybe the Incellum, we'll see, but I have Incellum Red, I have the Georgian Fire, Russian Red, Italian Purple, and chestnut. If you've never grown garlic before, chestnut's definitely my favorite. I'm going to take all of this downstairs and lay them out for storage. Very, very excited. Oh, and I had 2. There's 2 right here that didn't feel dry to me. They definitely felt like they needed a little bit more time, so I went ahead and just hung those up. I'll check on those in about a week. Here is all the garlic and where it will be stored in my basement. I have the soft neck hanging up here, and then I have all of my hard neck laid out so it can all have good spacing, good air. And I have a dehumidifier down here as well, which should also help a bit, but everything looks so, so beautiful. I'm so happy to have got that done this morning. Look, you guys, we have a swallowtail. I've been seeing more butterflies this week, which is really exciting. Let's see if the girls are done laying to where I can at least get the inside of this cleaned out and see how many eggs we got so far for the day. All right, looks like everyone's out. I think so. Yeah, everyone's out. I think we at least have 2 from the way they sounded this morning. There's 3. We got 4 already? Jeez, girls. We might just have 4 for the day. If we end up getting another one later, I'll be shocked because typically they average about 3 to 4. I still don't have a compost area set up still, so I'm just gonna bag this for now. Well, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I'm just going to finish cleaning up the coop, nothing crazy. But thanks for being here this morning while I got a lot done on my to-do list. It was very, very needed. I'm very happy that the garden has less weeds, the garlic is put away, and I got the inside of this chicken coop clean. I did the run yesterday, so I am done. I'm gonna go take a shower, get a cup of coffee, and start the second half of my day. Thank you guys for joining me for my morning. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.